So when we talk of the currency, we talk of the money. Now, money we say have three important aspects in the civilization of any country. Money has a very important role to play, and we have seen that the world is dominated by the countries who have the largest economies, whose GDP, gross domestic product, is very high, and who have a good forex reserves. Means they have a good amount of the reserve money with them, as compared to the countries which are um, poor economies, highly in debts, and they have taken huge amount of the loans. So the countries which have got a very good amount of the forex reserves and those whose value of the currency is very high is good. They are considered as the good economies. So there are three important parameters on which you measure the worth or the value of the money. One is the medium of exchange, then is a store of value, and third is a unit of account. So these are MSU parameters for the money: medium of exchange, store of value, and the unit of accounts. Now, what does each and every of parameter means? Let's see one by one. When we say medium of exchange, we say it means it is a payment mechanism. Can I use the money as a means of payment? The answer logically is yes. You can. Money was created or founded for this very purpose only, and you can always use it to pay someone for something. So if you want to buy a product online or offline from anywhere around the world, you can always use money as a means of mechanisms. Okay, I will pay you $10 or 10 INR, Indian National Rupee, and you give me this much amount of the product. Or I will pay you $50 or $100 or maybe $1,000. That depends upon the value of that particular product, and then you can use it as a payment mechanism. So that is what is a medium of exchange. You give money and the other person will give you the raw goods or finished goods, depending on what you're buying from the customer or from the company. We also say it's a store of value. Now, a store of value means, will your money be worth the same as it today? Uh, the what was the value of money? Let's say for India as a country, we say what Indian currency, what is INR, in 1947, and the US dollar in 1947 were at par with each other. So one INR is equal to one US dollar. That was a history around 75 years back. Now, within 75 years, due to the fluctuation in economies and due to the political situation in the countries and the market forces and the growth of the what we say the industrial productions, the import and export ratios happening, the value of the INR has come down and the dollar has increased many fold times. So nowadays $1 is equal to almost 70 to 75 rupees. That's the range typically varies. So store value means the usually value is affected by the market forces or the inflation, and inflation play a very important role. And that inflation is two main factors for the inflation: rise in inflation or drop in inflation are the production level of the country. Means India is largely the agricultural country, and so what has been agricultural produce till now, and the domestic production in terms of factory production, the hardcore production, maybe the cement, the steel, the tile, the automobile productions, that actually determines the economy of the country. And slowly somewhere our inflation has been going up, and that almost happens to all the Asian economies by and large very vulnerable to the market forces. They're not stable. If you look at the European economies, yeah, US economies, they're far more stable, because first of all, their economic value right from the earlier days, they've been able to maintain that. Their production is good, um, and the population is less because we spend a lot of money on managing our own population. So Asia by and large suffers it's heavily populated, densely congested, and so many people. So definitely they are the burden on economy. And Europe by and large is very less densely populated. So they have been able to manage their standard of living, and the cost of inflation has been comparatively manageable as compared to the Asian economies. The unit of account, it is something with the help of which you can compare the worth or the value of two items. So money also exchange is a offers us a medium wherein I can compare the existence of two entities. For example, if I am going to buy a car from the automobile owner, so he will tell me the four variants of it. Let's say I want to buy Vitara Brezza. or Wagoner. So they will say this is a basic model, this is the enterprise model, this is a higher price model, this is a superior model. So just from the basis of money, and one will cost me 7 lakh, another 8 lakh, another 9 lakh, another 10 lakh. So money, which is a form of the currency, also act as a medium for comparing the entities, and the highest value definitely is much more highly priced as compared to the lower commercial, lower worth value. So low version of the automobile will have a less features, and the higher version will have the higher features. So it also acts as unit of account, because with the help of which I can compare the worth or a value of two items. Let's say I want to buy a refrigerator or this air conditioners. So I go to the market. There are almost 10 types of air conditioner available with 10 different varying features, starting from 20,000 to going up to the O General, which is the highest brand, 60,000 rupees, or maybe even more than that. So money is also a way I can compare the existence of the two items easily. Now, over the period of time, forms of currency have changed. If you look at human civilization, coming up to the cryptocurrencies, we all started, the human civilization all started with the nomads. No house, no proper place to stay, all moving in forest, walking through the rivers and seas. So all started as the nomads. Then it gradually moved to the agricultural phase. So human realized, yes, something is also already available in the nature in the form of fruits, which are all free of cost. The wheat, so many things nature already offers us free. But then he started cultivating, so that agricultural produce he was able to use for the barter system. So let's say if one agriculture owner is, the farmer is producing apples, the other is producing the wheat, so they can start exchanging the goods they have produced. So one farmer will give him 4 apples, the other one will give him half kg of the wheat. So now barter system came into being as a form of currency where you can exchange the goods to satisfy the needs. Then if you look at the existence of the paper, uh, then initially if you look at the kings and the coin came into being, the kings were really fascinated. They have established their own empires, and they wanted to ensure that their name remains for there. So what they did, they started using the coins. So coin, and they got their names engraved on those coins, like Louis George Fifth or Hamilton 4. So they got the name imprinted, they got the image imprinted on it. So kings and coins, the coins came into existence by means of king. Then we move to the paper. So take the arrow down, not the up. So after barter, it's a kings and coin. Then we got a paper. Paper currency, we are still using it, and it was there for many look around 200 or 3 years, 400 years back. Paper currency came into being after the discovery of the paper, and then it was again imprinted with a worth, the value of it, and the government of the that particular country with some unique. Nowadays you have got a barcode and the QR code also, but initially it was just a seal of the kingdom. So paper currency came into being in a big way. Then came the plastic cards after the paper currencies, where now still we are using the credit card and the debit cards. So credit and debit card. Credit card is something wherein you purchase the things first and then you pay later. For example, if I want to buy a refrigerator or a television from the market, I will go there, I will pick up a product, I will pay to the vendor using my credit card, and immediately the payment will be done by the merchants, my bank, to the merchant establishment or to the vendor from whom I'm buying the AC or a refrigerator or television. Now, I will have my own credit card billing cycle, which in India is by and large 28 days. So after every 28th days, I will receive a bill from my bank that your name is this, you are having a credit card number with this account, and this is the transactions you have done in the last 28 days. And they will give me around a week time to make a payment, and then I will clear off my bills. So in the credit card, it's you buy first and then you pay later. In the debit card, it's instant siphoning off the money. So you pay first and then you buy the product later. So if you're having a debit card of, let's say, Bank of Baroda or Punjab National Bank or State Bank of India or any other bank, so if you're using a debit card and you're buying a product, instantly the money gets siphoned off from your account. And once the money is paid to the vendor, like if you're buying a AC, then he will allow the delivery of the AC to your home. So when we are doing online transactions on the net, my experience shows the credit card are safest mechanism, because even the credit card fraud take place, you have not paid anything from your own amount, your own account till that date. So after 28th days, when the credit card bill come and you say, okay, I did not do any transaction 15th of December, though it says that, okay, I have, and the 5,000 is being charged to my name. Again, you can contradict to the bank that I did not make any credit card transaction on 17th of December, though still 3,000 rupees has been charged to my name. So most of the credit card companies give 72 hours of the time to lodge a complaint to the Reserve Bank of India as well as to the customer care center of the bank, wherein you can put a lodge an official complaint that certain fraud might have taken place. I'm not a party to it, and I did not make these kind of transactions. And you can go and launch the FIR also, keep a copy of FIR with you, and submit it to these agencies also. So you don't, at the end of it, you don't suffer any financial loss, you don't suffer any commercial loss. But in the case of debit card, your money is directly siphoned off from your bank account. So that's not a preferable mechanism for doing an online transaction on the web, because we all know web is highly insecure media. So you need to be very conscious when you're dealing with the money uh, by making a transaction, either your credit card or the debit card. So after the plastic cards, we have got net banking coming up in a big way, especially when India saw the demonetization happening in 2016. So a lot of financial transaction thereafter in almost every sector, maybe real estate sector, or maybe any branch of the economy, even like the payment of the fees in the education institutions, or like the payment of the salaries employed, everything started happening on the net. So net banking came a very big way, and the government pushed it using the RTGS and NEFT, what we call real-time gross settlement, and the National Electronic Fund Transfer, RTGS and NEFT. So when you, so for example, if you or your brother or parents may be having a account with any of the bank, and they can log into their account, provided the user ID and password protected, and then they can transfer the money from one account to another account using the net banking feature. Then digital wallets again came into being a big way after the demonetization, wherein Paytm, PhonePe, many of these companies came into being, and they all started offering the medium wherein you can directly have your digital wallet account, and then you can buy the product by scanning the QR code, and you can enter the value, and the money will be siphoned off from your account and directly paid to the account of the vendor. And now we have got cryptocurrencies, which we'll discuss, the like the Ether, the Bitcoin, and so many number of cryptocurrencies have now come up in the market. So over a period of time, the money has changed its nature, its form, its shape, its size, its value, its worth, and the way it is being traded. So in the last so many years, means even if you look at the decades and centuries, money has been changing its form, and cryptocurrency is not the full stop. It's just another comma in this history of money. Maybe another 20 years down the line, because quantum computing has come up in a big way, we might have the cryptocurrencies replaced by quantum computing cryptocurrencies, which will much more secure what the cryptocurrencies are. And as we discussed earlier, China and the Indian government has still not regulated the exchange of money using the cryptocurrencies. So till the point of time these two largest economies of the world don't regulate the cryptocurrencies, cryptocurrencies don't have a future. Though government of India and with Ministry of Finance and SEBI have not set up a committee, and they're coming up with a draft bill how to regulate the cryptocurrency. So maybe in the winter session of Parliament, or maybe in the another session of Parliament, might have a bill to regulate the cryptocurrency, because here the customer data is at the stake, customer money is at the stake, and government does not want that so many financial frauds start happening in the cryptocurrencies, and then again the cyber cops or the police have to spend the time trading the just checking that money trail from where it is moving. So much amount of black money might get pumped into this business, so they want to regulate it, and then they will authorize the valid or legal crypto transactions to take place. So maybe it will take another 4 to 6 months, or maybe earlier than that. That depends upon the sensitivity or the importance of the cryptocurrency and how well the government manages it. Now, when we talk of the government of India initiative, they have taken a lot of initiative in managing the money in the terms of digital payments. Like Rupee is one of them. So you can go to this site rupee.co.in. Are we able to see this website? Anyone can say quick yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay, let me then. So आप लोग login state में रहिएगा. Let me log off and then log in again. Okay. So we can see in this Rupee measure taken by the government. Is a site visible to us? Anyone can
Yes,
say
sir.
yes or fine.
Yes, sir.
So we can see here the second version of it has come Rupee 2.0, and all being managed by NPCI. NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. Celebrate the future of contactless on your wrist. Introducing Rupee 2.0. It has been a long and fruitful journey of creating a less cashless, contactless society since 2012. It's almost 9 years it has been into picture. With the aim to provide exceptional user experience, Rupee has always been at the forefront of innovation in contactless payment. Nowadays, also, if you see, if you want to make a credit card payment of a limited amount of 3 to 5,000 rupees, you don't need to swipe the card or insert a card into a POS machine. You can just put it at the top, and then immediately the money will be debited from your corresponding account. So these are all the measures of the contactless payments, and especially in the times of pandemic, these things have really blossomed up. So they have given the various ways how you can carry out the digital mode of transaction using a tap of your wrist, tap into the recurring payment. All videos are there. So if you got interest, you can go through the site later on, and then you view these videos where they have shown how to do it tapping on the phone, and most secure payment of the gateway provided by the government of India. Then we have got Rupee POS, point of sales terminal. So another contactless experience that Rupee 2.0 brings along is the Rupee POS functionality. Simple to set up and low cost POS solution are the perfect for small and medium sized merchant. So small companies, small shopkeepers, shop owners can easily adopt, and many of them have already done it. But that is something which has already happened. So there are more technical features available here. They've given very success stories and the characteristic feature how they have been able to do it. Now we require somebody to regulate this. So we have got something called National Payment Corporation of India, or NPCI. So this is a government body set up by the Ministry of Finance, wherein they have come up with their whole lot of features to regulate the different modes of digital transaction happening, like UPI, Unified Payment Interface, IMPS, Immediate Payment Service, then NACH, National Automated Clearing House, Aadhaar card payment systems, what we call AFPS, National Financial Switch, Rupee, Live Banks, and the Bharat Pay. So many number of the government of India backed services are nowadays available for carrying out the digital mode of transactions on the web. And they have also shared some videos how they have shared the success stories and the latest circular which keep on coming from their side regarding the regularization of the digital mode of payment. So the customers data, mm, data means customers information, customer financial information, credit card, debit card, digital wallet details are not leaked out on the web. And they have designed their own secure payment gateways to make sure that your money remains safe and secure. So NPCI is a regulatory body, just like for the telecom business, we have got TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, who manages all the cellular operation, who regulates the different cellular companies like Geo and the Airtel and the Bharti, that is Bharti Telecom, the Vodafone. So we require some regulatory body at the top who can manage the things and who can monitor the things and set up the guidelines. Otherwise, there will be chaos in the market. So many private players will come and they will fight, and so government intervention is required to make sure that the proper management is done. Another very good thing about this is a fast tag feature, which I think many of you would have seen on the national highways. Nowadays, we don't make a manual payment because the National Highway Authority of India, NHAI, along with the NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, have collaborated, and now the fast tags are being issued by the banks directly to the customer. And once you cross any of the toll maybe the national highway, on the state highways, everywhere there to maintain the quality of the roads, government have created tolls, and these toll plazas charge the money, and the money is now debited or siphoned off instantly by the use of FASTag, which is pasted on the front windshield of the car. So again, digital mode of transactions has come up a big way. Same way nowadays, even if you say go for parkings in the malls, they are now FASTag enabled. So you don't no need to pay. Majority of the malls in Delhi NCR are now switched to the FASTag mode of payment, because all the cars have got the FASTag attached on the pasted on the top of the windshield of the cars. So immediately they can be scanned, and then the money can be siphoned off or debited from their accounts. Then is the IBB, setting up of the IBBIC. So what is this IBBC? Let me show you. It's a consortium or the coming together of various banks. So you can look at this ninth quite article this year only, 9 July 2021. And what does the IBB says? If you look at it, the company named Indian Banks Blockchain Infrastructure Company Private Limited. So this is a newly set up venture wherein many private and public sector banks who want to utilize a blockchain technology for safeguarding the customer's money have now come together, because they will all now, and if you can look at the next line, from 10 private sector bank, 4 public sector banks, and 1 foreign bank are now part of this uh, amalgamation or consortium, what we call IBBIC. And they are all processing the inland letter of credit for each other. So they all recognize each other. So this includes the bank like RBL, ICICI, HDFC, Kotak Mahindra, Axis, IndusInd, Yes Bank, South Indian Bank, Federal Bank, IDFC, First Bank, SBI. Now, coming together of SBI and Bank of Baroda is a very important, because majority of the Indian people have got their bank accounts in these traditional banks. If you add the Punjab National Bank also to it, or Allahabad Bank, an Indian, even Indian bank for that matter. Then we got Canara Bank, Standard Chartered, and each bank will invest up to rupees 5 crores in the company. That's going to be amalgamation of coming together of various companies who will set up this IBBIC, Indian Banks Blockchain Infrastructure Company Private Limited. So every bank will put certain amount of money for the for carrying out successful blockchain oriented transactions in the real time scenario. And then again we require some regulator bodies. So we have got IDRBT. It's called Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. So it's an independent institute set up by the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, who sets and guidelines, the frame policies, rules and regulation, that how digital transactions can be carried out, and safeguarding of the customer's money is most important. Technology is fine, but technology should be tested before it is deployed, because you cannot risk the customer's data, you cannot risk the customer's financial data, because once the data is breached, data pilferage take place, then yes, the frauds can happen and the customer might end up losing the money. So that kind of situation should never arise. So, and the IB you will use the Infosys Finacle Connect. Now, what Infosys has done good for the Indian banking sector, they launched a platform called Finacle, and today almost all the banks in India, they use this Finacle software. It is a very good web-based software, and when the banks provide the CBS core banking solution, they use this only. So this software is almost the client version of this software is installed almost all the banks in India. You go to the SBI, you go to the HDFC, ICICI, almost everyone has adopted this software called Finacle, and it's very cheap downgrade version, which is easily accessible. If you otherwise these if these bank buy the software from the European clients or European companies, then it will cost a lot. But almost at the 1/10 of the price, the Infosys has designed and developed this software called Finacle, and it's widely used across all the banks in India right now. And then they started giving the discussion about the blockchain technology when it was introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto, because the entire concept of IBBIC is based on this blockchain part only. Then we have got also another consortium. Consortium means a collection of different companies that work on the same domains. So it's a consortium blockchain wherein many companies, public and private sector companies, work together to create a different kind of the blockchain. Like we got a public blockchain, private blockchain, if you can look at here, public blockchain, consortium blockchain, and the private blockchain. So we'll discuss these things in a big way in a later part of the subject. So, but they are these companies together have now come to manage all these different kind of the blockchains, public, private, and the hybrid kind of the blockchain. So we'll discuss that separately because that's an important part. Now, we have seen the digital wallet. We have seen the Rupee. We have seen the Bhim UPI. We have discussed the RTGS and NEFT mode of transaction for carrying out net banking on the World Wide Web on the internet. So coming to the crypto part of it, the cryptocurrencies, we have got Bitcoin and Ether, which have become very popular, known as cryptocurrencies. And there are many cryptocurrencies. More than 50 cryptocurrencies have now exist in the market. So one is a currency and one is a cryptocurrency. So currency which is secured using some technological adoption like the cryptography, the symmetric or the asymmetric cryptography or the hashing techniques. Then we say as a crypto. We attach the word crypto along with the currency. So cryptocurrency is a generic name, but within cryptocurrencies, many private companies have then which have launched their own cryptocurrencies. Like Bitcoin and Ether are the two better known cryptocurrencies which are widely accepted across the world. And these are assets or item of value which all exist in a digital format, not physically, and they're all created by software. So no, just like the when we use a paper cryptocurrency, it's printed in the Government of India press. So or we use a coin. Coin is made by metal, but in the case of digital format, they're all created by softwares in the logical world, in the virtual world. It has a value and it can be exchanged for other cryptocurrencies like US dollars, etc. And simple example could be the coin DCX. This is one of the cryptocurrency exchange very popular in the Indian market, the coin DCX, which I think when you would have been seeing the matches of the IPL beam live from the UAE in the October, November before the World Cup. Many number of the cryptocurrencies apps and the cryptocurrency website came into being because they knew lot many people across India would be watching these matches. So that's the best way how to reach out to these customers, probable customers or investors who can invest their money in this cryptocurrency business. So its value is determined within the marketplaces called exchanges. Now, how you determine what is the worth of your cryptocurrency? So you need to go to the exchange. Just like in the physical financial business, we have got stock exchanges like the Bombay Stock Exchange or the Delhi Stock Exchange in Daryaganj, where the money is being traded, transactions are being done. Every company has its own market price, and the company stocks are traded by these traders and the investors, and the depending on the performance of the company in the last financial business, last financial quarter, the market value of the company goes up and down. So that depends on the performance of the company. What is the health of the balance sheet? What is the health of the company? Financial health of the company. Accordingly, they are being traded in the exchanges. So one of the better example, what you call Coin DCX, it was launched in 2018, and it's another good startup. It's called Mumbai-based startup, which is one of the most popular cryptocurrency exchange in India, with a combined investor strength of almost 35 lakh. And since these are not authorized, so it's a huge risk when you actually invest in these markets. So this is what the Coin DCX looks like. Launching Coin DCX, India's simplest app to invest in the Bitcoin market. So CoinDCX is extremely delighted to announce the launch of the CoinDCX app, India's simplest way to invest in the Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are the well-known cryptocurrencies around the world. So just like we have got a INR, we have got a US dollar, we have got Canadian dollar, we have got pound, we have got Australian US dollar, we have got Singapore US dollars, we have got a ringgit, which is a currency for Malaysia. So many countries around the world have their own currencies, and same way the companies in the virtual world, in the logical entity, have launched their own cryptocurrencies by these names: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and many other altcoin, almost with the zero processing fees, because they want to carry out the transactions on the web all in a digital world, not in the physical world. So they will never be printed, and that is where the real risk comes from the customer's point of view, because If he is not a seasoned IT expert, even if he is IT expert, chances are that he may still suffer a fraud, because the world of web is such that it's being dominated by the professional hackers. I don't know how many of you are very net savvy, and you, depending on your own knowledge level. There was a very one fraud came, very good popular fraud that happened in 2021, wherein one of the NDTV reporters, Nidhi Razdan, she was a well-educated lady, but then she got totally got cyber. She suffered a cyber attack because there were certain people who approached from the Harvard University, and she was told that she has been hired as associate professor in Harvard University, and they charged the transaction fees, processing fees. They gave her appointment letter, and she was about to book tickets to go to the Harvard. Then, when she realized that yes, she has been totally hacked by the professional hackers. So the world of professional hackers does not differentiate between the educated and the uneducated people. Even the well-known IT experts have been hacked by the hackers. um, so everyone has to be very conscious when he makes transactions on the web. So again, at the end of it, I will still say the credit card is the safest mode of transactions. So whenever you're doing any kind of transaction on the web, your family, friend, just encourage them to go for credit card, because in the credit card you don't lose some money on that very day of the transactions. You will receive the billing cycle. You will, after the end of the billing cycle, you will receive the credit card bill, and then you authorize those transactions, and then you make a payment. So you will keep your money till that point of time, and you still believe you have not done that particular transaction, you can approach to the Reserve Bank of India in 72 hours of the issuance of credit card bill, or to the company from whom, of whose card you are using, and then you don't have to pay. If you have not done any of the transaction, you are not you, the company launched its own, um, they carry out their own security drills. They launch their own investigative operations to verify and validate the particular transaction along with the vendor, where you have done or not done the transaction. But you don't suffer any financial loss, because you don't make a payment for the transaction which you have not done. You only make a payment for the transaction you have successfully completed. So credit card is one of the safest and securest way of doing the online transactions, whether in India or abroad. It's the same everywhere. That frauds keep on happening around the world, and that's why we have got a full-fledged subject as well as domain of cybersecurity, where the only focus is on carrying out the secure transactions on the web. So one of them is a Coindesk. There are many other cryptocurrency exchanges in India as well as abroad that deals or that trades the exchanges all in the digital world.